All right, let's get right into it. My name is Dawson. I am 26 years old, living in Canada. So, wanted to make some YouTube videos, kind of track and document my progress. This first video is kind of speaking out the goals that I've set out for myself into existence, and then trying to give a little bit of a plan and lessons learned as to how I'm going to try to achieve those goals this year. So, what I wanted to do is first just do a bit of an intro and give a little bit of a background as to who I am, what I've been doing over the past couple of years, and then go into the goals that I've set out for 2026, and then a little bit of kind of an idea of how I'm going to try to tackle those goals. The main purpose of making the videos is to try to keep myself accountable, to be consistent and stay disciplined throughout the year to make sure that I give myself the best chance of success to achieve the goals. And then obviously I want to make videos so that I can kind of keep track of that and document the whole process so I have something to look back on. And I wanted to make a commitment to myself to start posting those videos. So super excited to start doing this. The first thing I want to go over was what are the goals for 2026. So my big goal, my primary goal for 2026 is going to be the Ironman in Ottawa. So I did it last year, but this year I would really like to try to push my fitness and see how quickly I can do. The goal that I've set for this year is going to try to do a sub 12-hour Ironman. So that's goal number one. That's going to be my A goal. Then I kind of want to keep this channel mostly related to fitness and fitness type content, but obviously I'll sneak in some skydiving stuff. I'm going to sneak in some tunnel stuff every now and again. So in terms of the goals I'm going to be setting, they're probably going to be fitness based. I would like to try to get a sub 90 half marathon. I'm going to target a May-June timeline for that one because it will help me build up to the fitness that's going to be required for the Ironman. And then I also would like to do a sub 40-minute 10K. I think that's a little bit ambitious given what my historical PBs are, but I'll walk through that in a little bit. And then a sub 70 Hyrox open solo in the men's division. So haven't done a solo Hyrox yet. I've done a doubles. I'll be doing another doubles in Ottawa in May, and I will be doing a solo as well. That's going to be like a benchmarking one, and then I'm going to try to really go for it in September when we do the Hyrox in Toronto again. So my sub 70 will be for the September-October timeframe. All right, so those are the big goals. Now I want to do a quick little background of kind of my athletic ability so I can kind of provide some context as to why I'm shooting for those goals and why I've decided to kind of go with those. So I grew up playing sports as a kid, primarily rep hockey until I was about 13 or 14 years old. And then from there, I moved over to competitive judo. So I did judo for probably 4 to 6 years competitively. And then I played all the other sports in high school. Like I played on every sports team that I could. The more that I could do, the better. I love being active, love doing sports. But the two big ones for sure were rep hockey and competitive judo. And then once I moved into university, fell in love with the skydiving and the tunnel flying. So that's where I kind of focused a lot of my time and energy was into the tunnel flying and the skydiving. So from 18, first year university, all the way till about 2 years after university, I was kind of full board there. That was both coaching, training, and then once COVID passed, it got into competing as well. So that's kind of like my sporting background. In terms of fitness, I always wanted to get into fitness, but I was never super consistent with it or had dedicated goals that I would kind of strive towards. So I was kind of I would do some running here, I would do some running for different sports. I would kind of get into the gym and then I would slack off to the gym, but I never really had full training blocks that I would really try to do. And so when COVID came around, kind of started writing out some different goals that I wanted to set for myself. I kind of made a bucket list before 30, and an Ironman was on that. And so in order to do an Ironman, I'm obviously I'm not going to go straight to the Ironman. I'm going to try to give myself little milestones to get there. And so August of 2025, I completed my first Ironman, and basically the the fitness path of like trying to start exercising consistently and having a goal and trying to get a little bit of a training program started in 2023. So I'm like kind of 2.5 years into that, which kind of brings me to my current level of fitness, my current PBs and my benchmarks, and how I've decided to kind of formulate my goals. So I'm going to go back to kind of 2023, which is where like I was trying to start actually setting goals in terms of fitness. So my first sprint distance triathlon was August 13th, 2023, and that took me an hour and 24 minutes. Sprint distance triathlon is a 750 meter swim, a 20K bike, and a 5K run. So it's a shorter distance triathlon, but I just wanted to kind of do it to get my feet wet. And then in November of that same year, so November 2023, I did my first half marathon, and that was an hour and 49 minutes. I would say at that point I was obviously like all over YouTube, like looking at everybody and kind of building out a plan, but I didn't fully have like a proper training plan. I was kind of in and out of it a little bit. I was still kind of getting injured a lot because I don't think I was training properly. Like my left knee was giving me a lot of issues at the time. Like the outside of my left knee was giving me issues at the time. And I remember running, and I got to like the 17 kilometer mark. I was like really having a hard time. So yeah, 1 hour, 50 minutes basically for the first half marathon. And then I didn't put that in here, but I did the race around the bay in Hamilton, which was a 30K, and I absolutely got cooked on that. I had to stop running at like kilometer 12. I basically had to walk from kilometer like 13 to 30 because, like I said, the outside of my knee, I was having so many issues with it. I think it's a combination of like not doing progressive overload and like not doing the right training. It was the first run outdoors after the winter, and I'd only been running on the treadmill at that point, so maybe that played a part in it. I don't really know exactly what happened there, but that was again part of the struggle. So again, you kind of see that on and off. Like I didn't run for a little bit after that because I was kind of all over the place. But then in July of 2024, I did my first Ironman 70.3, my first half Ironman, and that took me 6 hours and 19 minutes. I would say at that point, biking was still probably my weaker point. Like I would say my swimming out of all three was the best, even though like I'm not really a swimmer. I just think with the flying and understanding like how aerodynamics work and like being able to kind of position my body and really be as aerodynamic as possible inside the water, I feel like it kind of helped keep everything nice and smooth. Biking and running were definitely the weak points, but I would still say that probably biking was weaker than my run capabilities at that point. But I was still super stoked with it. It was super fun. I did it with one of the boys that I scouted with, did it with Cody. We got to do that together, so that was really cool. And then in October of that year, so October 5th, 2024, I did my first marathon in Quebec City with some of my boys from high school. So that was 3 hours and 50 minutes. And I did try to structure the run training at that point a little bit more, but I wouldn't say I followed it to a T, nor did I probably include the right amount of volume and speed work that would be required, I think, to do a faster time. I definitely started struggling around the like 32 kilometer mark. Like I was hurting. I felt super good all the way up to like 30K, and then like kind of 32, 33, I was like, I was having a hard time. My hamstrings were like seizing up big time. But for a first marathon, it was super fun. I had a great time. 3 hours and 50 minutes for that one. Kind of tried to take some lessons learned there moving forward, knowing that I was going to be doing the Ironman next year, knowing that I was going to be doing some more races. So I tried to kind of pivot the training programs a little bit more. And so in April 2025, I did a half marathon, which is my PB still, an hour and 40 minutes. So that was my PB for the half marathon. My 10 kilometer and 5 kilometer PB came in September of 2024. I did 44 minutes and 22 seconds. So that's still my current PB. Like I said, I think one of the big lessons learned is not doing enough speed work. If I want to kind of be able to hit the times that I'm looking to hit. So that's kind of part of the lessons learned that I'm going to try to take into kind of building up my plan for this year. And then my marathon PB was in May of 2025. So I did 3 hours and 43 minutes. So I shaved 7 minutes off the time from the previous October. I was really happy with the training that I was doing, but I kind of started to get sick a little bit, and I kind of slacked it a little bit, and then that kind of didn't help. So again, it's the whole consistency thing. We're just trying to be more consistent, having more volume with the right types of sessions on a weekly basis and making sure that you're keeping track of that in order to do the progressive overload. That's like super important. So I'm keeping that in mind for the next one. And then my first Ironman was August of this year, 13 hours, 50 minutes. It was such a cool day. I absolutely loved pretty much every second of it, even when I didn't love it, because I just tried to enjoy it as much as I could. I really tried to not give myself too many expectations, and like I had broken or fractured my wrist 2 months before, so I was out for 6 weeks. After the marathon, I hurt my foot pretty bad too. Like I had kind of a bit of a stress fracture, so I was out running for those like 4 or 5 weeks. So I didn't really have good training. So I was like, you know what, just go out there, like have fun, enjoy the day, do the best that you can, put all of the effort that you can in there, but do your best to enjoy it. And that's exactly what I did. So super happy with how that whole thing went. A whole bunch of family and friends were there. The vibe was amazing. So I really enjoyed it. But now that I've done that, and like I know how my body responds to how my body mostly responds to training, I'm like super eager to be able to kind of like have the training plan put in place now, to kind of really see how far I can push it. And then I did my first Hyrox in October of this year. Me and a buddy from work, we did that in 1 hour and 18 minutes. We did the men's open division for doubles. So looking forward to seeing if we can beat that time. Okay, what's the last couple of things I want to talk about in this first video? Lessons learned and path forward. So based off of that information, what are some of the big lessons that I've learned? Number one is going to be staying consistent. Obviously, everybody knows that the more consistent that you can be, the better that you're going to be on the long term, right? Consistency will compound, and the more consistent you can be, the better it's going to be overall long term. But in terms of being consistent, I'm going to really try to make sure that I do that progressive overload properly. Like you don't want to go like super ham right from the beginning. So I think making sure that you set up the program so that you're not pushing it too hard too quick is going to be really important. And that's why I'm giving myself such a big lead time leading into what I know is going to be my A race, which is going to be in August of this year. So that's still like a full 7 months, because it's the first weekend of August. So giving yourself enough time to really kind of, slowly kind of increase and then recover a little bit, bring down the intensity, then kind of slowly increase again, then recover a little bit, right? So kind of making sure that you're taking the time to do that properly. And I think the other thing that I learned too is lack of strength. So I feel like in terms of my body composition, I do have pretty weak legs overall, and I know that you're not supposed to compare it to everybody else, but like kind of when I'm looking at different times and like kind of what people are doing and what my results were, I think strength in the legs is going to allow me to build more muscular endurance, and it's going to allow me to put out a higher wattage effort for a longer amount of time. So the last 2 months I've been super focused in building strength in the gym, not just my legs, but overall, and I'll continue to do that from now until basically middle of February. And then in the middle of February, I'm going to switch over to the more kind of triathlon-based training, where I'm going to start to be a lot more focused on the bike, the run, and the swim. The primary focus for that training is really going to be able to build as much as I can in terms of my ability on the bike, because that's where you're going to be able to see the most amount of gain from the effort that you put in, because you're just on the bike for so much longer than you are for anything else in the Ironman race. So strength training from now until from November basically until the middle of February. Then it's going to be pivoting over to progressive overload but and increasing the volume on the bike and on the run. I'm not super concerned about the swim. I'm going to try to just kind of keep my swim where it's at. I did an hour and 20 minutes. If I can shave a couple minutes off there, I'll be happy with that. But the big improvements are going to be way more volume on the bike, way more volume on the run, and stay consistent while doing that progressive overload to make sure that I can actually get the adaptations that I'm looking for. So that's pretty much, that's the big stuff. What am I going to do with the videos? Very similar to the way that coach people in the tunnel. I've seen a lot of people do different YouTube videos. Really the goal for this is for me to kind of keep myself accountable. So I'm going to, basically the style of videos that I'm going to do is going to be a briefing and kind of talking about what's going to be coming up in a session, filming kind of little clips of the session, and then doing a bit of a debrief to make sure that I take away what was good, what was bad, what were the things that I kind of noticed or need to keep an eye on for the next sessions, and keep moving forward that way. So those are going to be kind of the style of videos, and then, yeah, I'm just going to keep it going. So I'm super excited. I hope that this will help me kind of keep the discipline to make sure that I hit the goals that I achieved, and go from there. So yeah, thanks for watching, and dude, we'll see you in August. Hopefully when you break 12 hours. Take it easy.